Good morning, Service Lines community. How y'all doing today? Alongside me, Mr. Mike Callahan, president of PSA. Really good guy. We just enjoy talking with him. Hopefully you guys can hear us because I can't hear anything. And I don't have Doug here today to tell me if, it's working or not. I have no idea. So let me know in the comments if you can actually hear us. So Mike, you've never been on the morning grind. You've done an interview with us, but you've never been on the morning grind. We usually pray it up and then we go into whatever the topic for the day is. Today, we're talking about PSA and whatever other random thoughts we have this morning.
Sounds good to me. Thank you for having me on. Appreciate it.
Glad to have you here. So, all right, we're going to pray it up and then we'll get into this thing, guys. Dear Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for this time to gather together with our community at large. And Father, we're grateful to be here at this conference, the PSA conference in Virginia, and gathering with other individuals in the appliance industry, learning and growing together to help elevate the industry. Father, we just thank you for all this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
So Mike, tell us a little bit about who PSA is as an organization for those that don't know, and a little bit about yourself as well.
So PSA, and I'm somehow I wound up being president. I just probably from not saying no. It's really about helping to advance the appliance industry, the service industry on it. So we have training for technicians, training for businesses, and help them grow their business. And then, what I like about the conventions is being able to meet all the different manufacturers, people like yourself, and being able to exchange different ideas. We had our morning meeting class, and I leave it as an open topic, and we got into selling extended warranties, and so there's some good topics that come up, and it was just what somebody had asked about. So we just really want to. A little bit about myself. I mean, I've done this since I started with my father when I was 12. So I've seen the industry change. I've seen buyouts. We've been authorized. We've done just about every aspect of it: sales, service, reconditioning. Now we're also added scratch and dent into ours here now in my own company, and growing and still trying to figure out different ways to expand. So between and PSA is my home, but I do go to all the other conventions as well, for the same reasons, to better myself. PSA is my home, and it's what I like most.
So you're in Texas, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're down in Texas. What part of Texas are you in?
North Dallas, Fort Worth. So
Okay.
We have Prosper is our service office, was our main one. I took over another company and bought the building from them in Fort Worth, White Settlement, Fort Worth. And we're expanding with another building up by Sherman. So
Okay.
we're
So you're not far from that Rob Jones guy.
no.
I like digging. He's usually digging at me, so
Yeah.
I like digging at him a little bit. And it's a family affair for you. I learned that yesterday. It's really a family affair for you.
I have my wife, which she's an RN and she doesn't practice anymore. She's still an RN. She's at one point I said, all right, you don't need to work anymore. But she'd like to join the company. And my kids, I've never forced them into the company. I wanted them to go figure out what they wanted to do. And Katie went out different places and then came back, but she didn't really see a big vision in the company or a place that she fit. And then I showed her, I said, because she felt she needed to be a technician in order to run the company. I says, I belong to a peer group. There's a couple of guys in there that can't pick up a screwdriver. I don't know, and if they just know how to read the numbers.
You wouldn't want them to pick up a screwdriver.
Exactly. So I showed her that, you don't, to be a business owner, you don't need to know it's me, it's easier to know because I know when my tech is bullshitting me, but you can hire, sorry, excuse me.
You're fine.
But, you can hire people to do that or have good technicians or just watch the numbers. If you don't learn to read the numbers, you can know who's doing what right, wrong, or indifferent. And then I introduced it to other women that are women-owned businesses. And somewhere along the line it clicked, and she's like a shining star. I mean, I've let her take on anything that she wanted to do. I mean, whether we lose money or gain money or whatever, I just didn't let her stop. And you've met her, and she's pretty bright. So she comes up with some pretty good ideas.
Well, so that leads into some of the open topics, and I think for me, the business classes in any of these conventions, it doesn't matter which one, the business class is always. That was the thing that I was drawn to, understanding the numbers and stuff like that. And we had an open discussion yesterday talking about the pitfalls and the struggles that we see in the appliance industry. And we had a bunch of business owners in there, a couple newer guys, a couple bigger companies that were all in there. And we were discussing that. And yeah, you could tell that Katie is just very sharp when it comes to that stuff. And I guess for the guys that are smaller or just starting to build their team, I want to talk about one of the things that I really think that you're doing right. And so I'll set this up. We were talking. We had a gentleman in the back, and he's old school. He is that boot in the ass, don't care, like get out there and work, right? And his wife is HR for the company, and it's probably best that she's HR for the company.
And I'm very similar
You're
to
very
him.
similar.
And it's been a process because my wife is like, oh, you need to talk to them and talk to the employees and ask them how they're doing. I'm like, I paid them this week. Isn't that enough? I mean, how are things going? You got paid. Everything must be good. But I've had to learn, and having my wife and Katie in there, and even the rest of the office staff, they're able to pick up when there's an issue with one of the techs, something's happening, his recalls or a complaint, things that he normally doesn't have. They're able to pick it up and say, hey, maybe you need to speak to this person. And
they see the trends.
Correct.
And then they come to you as the service manager or the technician manager and go, listen, something's going on with this guy. We don't know what, but we're watching the numbers. And he's just not, something's wrong. Go have a conversation with him and figure out what's wrong. And I love what came, because I mean, you shared a couple different stories. You had one kid that was like paying 29% interest on a car from CarMax or something like that. Like, what are you doing?
I don't know that they realize how much, as a business owner, and especially with the amount of time, I buy cars all the time. I have connections for new ones. Now I started buying some hail cars or whatever to save money on. So for the service side, and I've got all those ins and outs, and I'm happy to help them. I've helped a couple people buy homes even when they haven't thought of it, because and just for instance, if you ask somebody, why haven't you bought a home yet? They'll be like, oh, I have to wait until I have this much money. I have to wait until this. In general, the biggest obstacle is that person.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't like no. I don't like being told no either. So I'm going to figure out how to do it. So even when I've applied for a mortgage and got turned down and it didn't make sense to me, I went and some people give up. I just go and do something else or get another one. But I've helped a couple people buy homes, and that one tech was having a problem. He was went through a divorce and trying to rent a place and looking at trying to buy another place, and was struggling. So we sat down, we come up with a plan, help him out a little bit, and you all of a sudden you see the difference in the calls and his work. So it's.
I mean, that was the sum of what we were talking about. So for you guys in watching at home, or in your trucks, like paying your technicians is not enough, right? Like, and one of the things we talked about, like, oh, well, I'm paying them a livable wage. Are you though? Like, are you really paying them a livable wage? And so we talked a little bit about performance pay and some of these other benefits and stuff that you can add. And the reality of it is, like, I lived in both worlds, right? I learned from a guy who'd been doing it since the 70s, and you did it this way, and this is how you did it, and you worked 12 calls a day, and you ran like crazy. But that's not necessarily the way it is now. And so learning to embrace it as a whole and figure out, one of the great discussions that happened was, like, I shared, like, there's some people that are money motivated. There's some people that are time motivated. There's some people that just aren't motivated, right? And you got to be able to kind of figure out which is what,
And sometimes it's not as easy as you think.
Yeah.
Because most people, if you ask them, they'll all say money. But all of a sudden, when you say, well, I can do this for you, or we can give this day off. One of the examples was that we, in the discussion yesterday, was with another appliance company. They were losing a tech.
To another local company.
Because they were going to allow them to work 10-hour days for 4 days.
10-hour days, yeah.
And he didn't go to the company he was working for.
He was afraid, is what they said. Yeah.
So, and for some reason, people are afraid of me. I don't really get it, but that's
big old teddy bear.
I started with my father, and I liked helping people.
Yeah.
I got into different things, went different ways, and came back to appliances. I'm really good at fixing appliances. Maybe not no more. I don't go out on the road too much, but reading and understanding and helping people is really what I like to do.
Yeah.
Being president of PSA. And other industries and Skills USA, helping that.
Yeah.
These are all volunteer. I don't get paid to be here.
Right.
I like helping. I will tell anybody anything they want to know. There's no secret to me. I'm not going to lose business because I gave you my how-to. I'm just going to help you. I'd rather help you. That's really what it comes down to. I truly believe the industry needs help as well. I mean, there's not enough people out there.
That was one of the things we talked about yesterday. A lot of people were saying, well, we can't find anyone. We've tried all these different things and we're not able to find anyone. And you shared one of the resources that you've been using that lets you go to all the job boards. That was, I don't know.
Career Plug.
Career Plug.
So Career Plug. I should have had them come here. So we'll work on having them come and try and work some sort of discount with PSA. Well, actually, I'll send them a copy of this so this way they know we're talking about them.
One of the things that, and I didn't mention it yesterday because the conversation went another way, but I love Tommy Mello's mindset. And so if you've read his book or you've seen his podcast, he talks about, like, looking for people who provide excellent service no matter where you are. He's at a restaurant and he's got a server serving him that is just, like, above and beyond. This guy is going out of his way to make sure that Tommy's experience is amazing while he's sitting down to dinner. And Tommy says, you ever think about changing careers? And the guy goes, well, yeah, but I'm just kind of stuck. The tips are good, but I really can't get ahead. I can't buy a house. And he goes, here's my card. Come and talk to me. And he brings this guy in and he becomes one of his best garage door salesmen, right? And so how often in appliance repair do we not think that way, right? Like it's like, oh, well, you got to be a technician. You got to be an electrician. You got to be, we look at all the trades, or we look at all these trade schools and stuff like that, which is good. I mean, you can find good technicians that way, but we ignore all the areas you wouldn't think of. So it's changing our mindsets as owners. And that was one of the things that I was kind of hammering home yesterday. the biggest problem I see in the industry is those of us who aren't changing our mindset. I've been guilty.
Myself as well.
So as if we want to change the industry, we have to start with us because it's our fault. We can't blame the employees if we haven't changed. If we're doing the same thing we've always done, great, that got us here, but it's not going to get us there. It's not going to get us where we want to go. So, what else does PSA offer? So we've talked about the convention and some of the great conversations that happen and why we come, but what else does PSA offer for a servicer, for an owner of a company that's going to help them grow their business or get better at business?
I mean, they have, we're a certified service, so you can become a certified service center or a master technician, and you can do all the.
What does that involve?
Actually, we give the test away free at the convention, but there are other places that you can take it online, and we're working on that. We also merged with and took over NESDA, which has ISET. So we're in the process of making things more online, readily available, so you can have your techs become certified on that.
So Joe asked, does PSA have a website?
Yes.
What is that website?
PSAworld.org.
You're right. I'm going to look it up real quick, guys. Oh, yes, okay. It is PSAworld.org. We're going to drop.
I didn't know I was going to be tested today.
Well, I figure if you're testing the technicians, we should test you.
And we're going through some growing pains as well, doing with the NESDA, integrating with them, and ISET as well. It's trying to figure out, and we've just merging all the members together and everything. So,
you guys have some manuals as well. You have some other resources on your website, or?
Yeah, the service libraries on there. There's a bunch of different things on there that as a member you have access to help.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And like a lot of the other organizations, it's the convention is really where it's at, right? Like coming and getting together and getting to know each other.
Or to me, that's the best place. We haven't had a training in a while, but usually we're out with the PDs doing some training. We're restructuring some of that program now and be back out there doing it. Internally, different things have happened since COVID, so some of it got dropped. But still, I like our classes better than most of the others.
Yeah.
But we partner with a lot of the PDs as well. So.
And you do run the gambit. You have the business course and you have the technician training. So if you're a business owner and you want to bring one of your technicians, it is a really good place to learn. I mean, the technician classes here, just from what I've heard and what I've seen, are phenomenal. I mean, these trainers kind of go all out with these trainings.
And we try and get most of the manufacturers to come. If a manufacturer is not coming for
whatever reason
it is, we will have our own trainers or hire somebody that works from there to come and train. So this way we're not missing out on, or there's not an opportunity for somebody to learn or come here and be like, man, I need that training, but yeah. So
that's awesome.
We try.
That's awesome.
Can't make everybody happy, but we absolutely try and make sure we put on the best show we can for the people so they're learning something.
So what about next year? So, our folks at home watching, they're obviously not here. Are you doing this again? Well, they should be. They should be. So how do we get them here next year? Where's it at? What are we doing for PSA?
Next year it's in Vegas.
Okay.
I don't have the date on me right now. I should have that.
I didn't do my research either. But it is next year. It is in Vegas.
Westgate. It's a great hotel, and it's a pretty nice venue. We've been there before.
Okay.
It's easy to get to. That's what we like about it. The airport's right there. And
okay.
Flights are usually relatively inexpensive if you book it early enough. And on Wednesday night at the dinner, we'll be having a special discount, which I'm sure you can put down.
Yeah, we'll post the discount. We talked to Randy about that, and I believe that special goes till December 31st of this year.
Yeah.
Correct. So there'll be a discount code running all the way through December 31st. If you didn't make it this year, then you definitely need to make sure you're there next year, because you really are missing out. I mean, I've met a bunch of new people. I've been to the ASTI. I've been to a bunch of these, and I met new people this time. I've heard different perspectives. So there is value in going to all these things and really getting to know and hear the way that other people do it. In the session this morning, there's a guy in Minnesota, and he was doing a warranty very similar to the way the gas company was doing. I've not seen anyone attempt to do that. And so that was really neat to kind of hear how that was going.
Yeah, and I like that morning class that I put on. Well, we're doing another one tomorrow morning, but it's an open topic, and actually TK started that with the question on extended warranties and stuff. So, and it opened up, everybody sharing, and I'm like, wow, even if I've done it before, I haven't pursued it. And I didn't have the resources when I was a little bit smaller.
You said you weren't tracking it.
Yeah, so I mean, the right way to do it is to put a couple people in charge of it, make sure they're selling it, updating it, reaching out and expanding it. So I'm like, what's the matter? Why ain't I doing that? So, but as there's growing pains too. So, I mean, There's only so much you can do. I do have my daughter who's good, and my son just started back with me. He's here as well. So
I haven't met him.
Michael, yeah, he's around. We brought him back. He started he's doing a lot of our billing for us.
Okay.
Now. So we're getting him in the inside, and we'll teach him the rest of it. He can't turn a screwdriver either.
So he's not taking the technician classes. He's on the business
track. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So he's probably in TK's classroom.
He is. Absolutely. Yeah.
Talking about SOPs, TK's leading a class on standard operating procedures and how to implement them in your company, how to track some of those changes, when to make the pivot. So that's cool.
Yeah.
That's very cool. Is there anything else that you want to leave the community with as we leave?
It's funny because I talk to other companies that I'm affiliated or work with, just local ones.
Yeah.
And I try and get them to come. I don't know why they won't come, And I think they think there's like they're just trying to take my money and not get something from her. It's really, honestly, and you guys too, we just really want to help you guys do better.
Yep.
If you're struggling, even if you're not struggling, your knowledge of what
to that next level. Yeah.
Correct. I mean, there's people here that are either done it, not done it. One of the classes we were in, everybody's like, oh, I got 1 people, I got 5 people, I have 26 people, and the next guy is
400. That was crazy.
So we have. There's a huge resources here. I'm like, I got to go over and talk to Martinsons a little bit more. It's just.
I couldn't wrap my head around that. Yeah, it was like I got 1, I got 26, I got 32, I got 2 of us, I got 5 of. Yeah, we got 400 between all our. What? You have 400 people in your organization? Like, holy cow, that was mind blowing. But you get a different perspective, and even he was like, well, I didn't think about it that way.
Correct.
Whatever we were talking about, he's like, I hadn't thought of. Oh, it was Mike talking about marketing and like how to grow your business. He goes, I never looked at it that way. I'm gonna have to go back and talk to them and find out if we're gonna implement some of this stuff. So even a 400 person company can come here and learn something.
Correct.
In a class.
And anybody can. So that's the beauty of it. And then also having them as friends and resources that you can call on later.
Saul hitting it up with, it is a big business expense and a tax write-off. So, It's training. You're reinvesting into your company. So there is some truth in that. Go see a tax advisor. Don't take we're not tax people, but it is one of the advantages.
It's worth the expense, 100% worth the expense. And I have other businesses now. I've bought properties, and I have another partner in that. He goes to all these different events to learn more. And really, when we go to, and I go with him on certain ones, he's only looking to gain one or two things. He doesn't
Right.
have to learn it all, and what he can apply and help make more money or change or save money or whatever it is. So it's kind of crazy. He goes to a lot of them. It's like, that's just too much time. But then I look in and he's talking about something, I'm lost. I don't know what he's talking about. I'm like, shoot, I should have went with him on that one. And
the return on investment becomes just
his portfolio is growing faster than mine. So
Yeah.
it is what it is. But
Right.
and that's the whole thing with anything. It's whatever you're gonna get what you put into it. If you're not putting it into it, you ain't gonna get it. So.
Right. So Service Alliance Group, we are teaching 5 classes this session. We might pick up a 6th. We haven't confirmed with Randy yet if we're picking up a 6th, but we plan to be attending the next one and helping out with the business track and bringing some of that information and adding value.
And you do. And we appreciate you guys coming and being able to, join together and come up, because we again, we just want to help people. And I know there's other people look at it as a rivalry.
Right.
I mean, I'm not here to be a rival.
Right.
We're here.
How can we help each other?
Yeah, that's really what it is.
So Saul says, if you pick up one thing from these events and it helps, then it was worth it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
100%. But yeah, we've enjoyed being friends with you and really helping in any way that we can with PSA. And we look forward to continuing that tradition into the future. And
it was funny because you gave me a couple of compliments the other day. I'm like, no, I'm not really like that, am I?
Yeah, I mean, so just getting to know you over the last couple of years, like, you do have just such a care for the industry, for each of these people that come through, whether it's a technician or a business owner, a CSR, or whatever. And you look to add value. And for us as Service Alliance Group, we always want to align ourselves with people that are adding value. So when we brought our sessions, we're like, how are we going to add the most value? Like, what value can we send these people home with? We don't want to waste our time. We've all sat in those classes before, and it's like, I'm out the door. Like, I'm literally getting nothing. It's a sales pitch. I don't want to deal with it. I'm out the door. And I think PSA as a whole, you guys do that as well. You try and add as much value into it. And so for us, it's very easy to align with you guys and to partner up and help you guys in any way that we can, because those core values of giving back to the community are there. So
absolutely. And I can't tell you there's not that you might get hit with the sales pitch at one or two classes.
Everyone's spending money to get here. They're going to pitch you on something.
Correct. I mean, even the PDs that'll be doing something, they want you to buy parts from them. So I can't tell you that you're shielded from that by coming here. But some of it's a good thing. Some things I use and pivot the PDs against each other for better pricing, better whatever it is I can do to save on
you have a chance to get to know people here. You get to grow your network. And one of the things that we talked about yesterday was, like, you have to be able to leverage your parts distributors against each other. But if your parts distributors don't know who you are, they haven't gotten to know you at all, and you're just a face that buys one part every year, and then they don't hear from you again, there's no motivation for them to work with you on that. And so this is a chance to really get to know them and really begin to kind of spread that out. that was probably one of the best lessons I learned when I was running my company was don't put all your eggs in one basket, right? Like you can't just use one parts vendor. They're in it for a profit. They're going to twist you eventually. And if all your business is with just one parts vendor, you're going to find yourself in a world of hurt.
Early on, I started going to, and I'm going to throw names out there, was AP Depot, which was bought by Reliable later on. But they were right by me. I would go down there to the counter and go in there buying the parts and trying to get them shipping. And I asked about having a rep, and they're like, and the guy at the counter, no, this is your best pricing, whatever. And then I got hooked up with Marcone shortly after that, and it was I think it was the second PSA that I had been to. And so it's a while ago, and APD, the guy's there, and he's like, aren't you right in Dallas? I'm like, yeah. How come you don't buy from me? He says, I did. I asked for an account rep. They told me no. He says, how much do you buy? And I went and I got, downloaded on a file. It says, this is what we buy in a month. It's like, holy crap.
So Saul's yelling at me in the comments. He goes, don't say that word there. Dave Smith and Jeff are here from MSA Marcone MSA. But I would pit Dave against Sunberg all the time. I'd be like, listen, buddy, you're taking too long, and I can drive to Sunberg in about 2 minutes, and I'm saving $10 a part or whatever. And Dave would work with me, and we'd figure things out. But there was times where Sunberg might have been back ordered, and I'd have to go to Marcone, or they were back ordered, and I have to go to Incumbent. You have to be able to go where the parts are. COVID was the worst for them. Like you just went wherever the parts were. But that happens even outside of, that COVID reality that was going on. It's not always the best choice to just stick with one company. So it is good to kind of.
We have accounts with quite a few of them, and we're doing more with Marcone now anyway. So it's and they've got another program that we're interested in doing with them. So
yeah.
But again, we're trying to decide if that's best for the business and how it's going to work.
Saul says, don't talk price to me. I sell value. and I mean, there is truth in that. And your story really hit on that point is, you had a local vendor who said, you don't need a sales rep. This is your best price. This is what we're doing for you. And Saul, I mean, really, that guy takes care of his customers, and he really checks in on his customers to make sure that they are getting the most value out of Marcone. And we've talked about it before. All right, well, if you want free shipping, then I got to put you in this price bracket, or you're willing to pay for shipping, so I can move you to this price bracket. And you really just have to decide what is best for your company. You're ordering 100 parts a day, hundreds of parts a day. Well, maybe $12 in shipping spread across all your customers isn't so bad. And because you're buying that volume, now all of a sudden, having 10% more off on each of those parts, you become more profitable paying the $12 shipping, right? So that's the value of a rep. That there is truth in what Saul was saying, and you only learn that if you get to know your rep. And if you don't know your rep, PSA, the convention, is a great time to come and get in front of a rep and go, listen, here's what's going on, guys.
Your rep might not be here, but
someone is.
The store is, and they want to edge on and get you going. So
I always got lucky. My rep, Dave Smith, was, he rides the convention circuit, so
he's usually here.
I was always able to get in front of him. But yeah, that's awesome.
But that's the same even with manufacturers. I mean, the trade show starts tonight, and it'll also be tomorrow. There'll be manufacturers there. I can go and talk to them. The good thing, and I try and get more manufacturers to come
Mm-hmm.
because, they're looking for servicers. Well, where are you going to find better servicers? They're getting trained, they're involved in the industry. I mean, you can go and try and find the guy that's working out of his trunk, which could be the beginnings of a great business, is fine, but usually they're not set up to do the billing and support that as well as a regular company. And I'm not trashing
Sure.
somebody starting out, but I want them to grow as well, and this is where you're going to learn how to do it.
Yeah. Well, and you're going to find different types of vendors when you go to the trade show. So one of our partners, My Office Help, is here. They're actually teaching a class right now. Well, TK is teaching a class. So My Office Help is here. There's a whole bunch of other.
You guys have really stepped up and are doing a lot. So, and we really do appreciate it.
Yeah.
So.
I was trying to think, I saw a couple, there might've been a financing company out there or something like that. You have some different, it's not, I say that to say it's not just the parts distributors. It's not just the manufacturers that are here, but there's a whole bunch of different vendors that have come to the show and you don't know what you need, right? Like you shared this morning, I didn't know that I needed financing, but I found a couple different financing companies through networking. And now all of a sudden I have two options in financing to offer to my customers, right? So
correct.
Coming to these conventions, I think there's a ton of value in that alone, because you don't know what you don't know. And it might be something like you said, I'm not good at the financing thing, that let someone else deal with that. It's scary to let go of control at first, but once you do, you find there's a lot bigger return.
Well, and that's a business learning is in order to grow, you have to find people that you can trust and put them into letting them do the job and not micromanage them or I mean, you have to.
A little bit of oversight, but you're not do it this way.
Correct.
And
that's the hard part because I always want things done my way.
We were talking about that yesterday, and I mean the sentiment in the room. There was a gentleman who's like, by myself, I do 3 calls a day, and I just don't care. I can't get anyone to do it my way, so I ain't doing it. If they show up, they show up. They don't show up, they don't show up. And either way, I'm doing my 3 calls a day, and I'm going home. And I won't say he's wrong because that works for him.
He's also got to be the one doing the calls for however long he can do them for.
Right.
And everybody has I mean, you have to come up with what your plan is.
Mm-hmm.
Having a business where I have 26 people, 16 techs running around and adding sales on and growing. I'm 58. My wife's like, should we be winding down? And I'm like, well, no, I got Katie. I have good people.
Katie, Michael. Yeah.
I mean, we're growing. We're going to try and figure out different ways to make it bigger and go stronger. So I keep putting more.
You should have a succession plan.
Yeah, I should have better planning, but yeah.
You're getting there.
Yeah, we're getting there. Yeah. So it's a growing thing. So, but I don't stop them, and it's one of the greatest things is even the girls on the phone. I want them to be able to make the decisions. When a customer's complaining, I'm going to empower them. I might go and say, how did you come to that? Because that wouldn't have been what I would have done.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not mad at them for I'm happy they made a decision, but let's talk about how you came to that decision, why you made it.
Help me understand.
Yeah. So, and they'll tell me, I'll be like, all right, that's fine. Maybe let's look at it from a different angle and you can change your perception if something similar happens and do it this way or whatever. But I don't want to tell them they're wrong, because if they're wrong, they're not going to do that. They're not going to make that decision next time.
Right.
It'll be, hold on, I'll need to connect you to somebody else.
Well, and how many times are they right? And they did it a different way than you would have thought of. And it's like, I think we need to implement that in the company. More you guys need to be asking questions that way.
Absolutely. Technicians too. So.
It's not the way our brains think. And so when we're able to be collaborative in that environment, we empower our people. I was sharing on the podcast yesterday with Doug, like this is a truth that not everyone is ready for. And I'm going to say it again. It is our job as leaders to help our people become the best versions of themselves that they can be. Some of these people may leave you.
I agree.
Because you made them the best version of themselves and they outgrew you. That's okay. Your duty as a leader, as a manager, as an owner, as a lead tech, whatever it is to take the people that you are leading and make them the best version of themselves that they can be. Whatever tools you need to do to help them grow to that point, that's your responsibility. And the only time you fail as a leader is when you fail to do that. That is your one job as a leader above all. Now that encompasses a lot of things. There's a lot of day-to-day tasks and a lot of minutia that has to be done. But your sole job, your overarching job title is to help your people become the best versions of themselves that they can be. And if you don't do that one thing, then you fail. So I get a little harsh, but we need the truth, right?
Absolutely. And we try.
Yeah.
We try. We want them to do their best. So, yeah.
It's awesome. Well, thank you for your time, Mike. I've appreciated having you on. I always enjoy chatting with you, whether it's in the hallway or, you introduced me to Steve Gelman yesterday. I talked to that guy on the phone for 15 years and never met him.
That was funny because the classes were double booked, and there's issues. And we started the class without Steve Gelman.
We had the other Steve. We had the other Steve.
And then he came in, and it worked out. That was a pretty really interesting round table that came up, and I think people learned from it. So
yeah. It was a good time.
And we had to be diversified to be able to change as we were going. So.
It was good. But yeah, I appreciate the heck out of you, Mike. We met each other a few years ago, and it's just been so much fun to watch your company grow, to see how you're helping steer the ship of PSA and the direction that you and the board are taking to make PSA better. Each and every year you strive to make it better. And it's a really good thing to see. We need more of that.
Yeah, we'll get you on a committee in 2 or 3.
I'm getting voluntold, guys. You heard it here first. I'm getting voluntold.
That's how I became president.
Guys, we hope this was helpful. If you didn't make it to PSA this year, make sure you stay tuned. We're gonna have all the marketing material here pretty soon. In the meantime, website's up on the screen, psaworld.org. Go check it out. And you'll get to hang out with cool guys like Mike over here. And you might even learn something.
And I make it an effort to try and make sure I say hello to everybody. If you're sitting at a table, my wife will be like, "Where are you going?" So somebody's sitting by themselves. And, we want to be friendly. We want to be welcoming, and and it's hard to do that with so many people coming, but we definitely want you guys to be here and learn more.
We were talking around the fire pit, our group, Service Alliance group. So Mike and EJ and TK and myself, we pick up the stray puppies, so all of a sudden people just start we pick them up as we go along. And last night around the fire, there was 25 guys after we went over and had some dinner and some drinks, and there's 25 guys just sitting around the fire, talking business, talking life, talking whatever. And it was, it's just a good time to come together as a community and really get to know each other more.
And that was the nice thing that Service Power did.
That was awesome.
Have the dinner come over. Of course, again, they were trying
sales
pitch. And it's a free
sales pitch.
Yeah, there you go. So
no strings attached on that one.
Right. So, if you're looking for a program and smaller, I'm not ready to we just changed our
Yeah.
program. So I'm not ready to go through that.
I don't blame you.
But I will check it out and see, because I can download it for free and check it out. So,
Yeah.
for somebody that doesn't have a program,
It's worth looking into.
Absolutely. But you find out those things coming here.
I didn't know Service Power was free. I mean, most of those softwares are paid and they're not cheap per
Correct.
month. So the fact that last night he's like, it's free and we intend to keep it free. We have no intention of raising the price. At least this part of it will always be free. We make that promise to you right now. The other part we can't guarantee, but this piece of it will always be free. And so that's just such a good thing that they really want to pour back into the community. So,
Did you go to the one on Sunday night with McCombs?
I didn't get to that one.
Yeah, so each night somebody is.
Yeah.
We were lucky. Some years they didn't, but this year they seem to be.
There's something going every night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So keeps us busy. So
That's awesome.
thank you.
Well, thanks guys for tuning in, and you might even see us tomorrow. We don't normally come on Wednesday, but with the travel, we might actually be on doing a podcast. So keep your eyes open. Make sure you hit that subscribe bell and hit the notification so that you see when we go live. If you are unaware, servicealliancegroup.com, go become an all access member. Ignore EJ hasn't created the new overlay yet. I'm throwing him under the bus again. He's got to get it done. But we do monthly masterminds. So much like the classes that we're teaching here at PSA, we get together with a group of you guys online and we teach some type of business principle every single month. And it's free for all access members. So not an all access member, go check out servicealliancegroup.com, become an all access member and have a chance to learn every single month. And of course, PSAworld.org down in the corner, go check them out and help support another amazing group that is helping to elevate the appliance service industry. We will catch you next time on the morning grind, guys. Have a good one.